Hello and welcome to Dan Talks United. So, as we did last week, this is the Monday reflection, but I'm doing it on a Tuesday because we played yesterday. But I still want to keep these shows going because it was the first one last week and this is the second one for this week. So, as we did last time, just want to recap on the game, and by doing that, the following day, it allows you to calm down a little bit. Obviously, it's still raw from yesterday's game, losing 1-0 to Everton, especially with 10 men. So, how are we all feeling? How are we feeling, Reds, about that loss? We'll come on to Amorim in a bit. We'll come on to more about the game. But stay tuned so we can cover everything. And as always, please subscribe because it's really important to new channels such as this. We're a growing community and the subscribers is growing, so keep it going. Let's get into it then. A quick recap. Don't want to spend too much time on it. A little bit of reflection from yesterday's game. Monday Night Football, Old Trafford. I'm sure most fans would have been expecting a win. But we've lost 1-0. We've had start of the game, we had Everton players slapping each other, one man sent off, down to 10 men early on, 0-0 at the time, and you're thinking, yes, we can capitalise on this, and we've just continued to play poorly. It was embarrassing, and they hit us on the counter, score a speculative effort from outside the box. Dewsbury Hall, reject from Chelsea. Had his good days at Leicester, but not particularly played well at Chelsea. So just going to have a look at the stats. So overall, we had 70% possession. Now, there's not, we don't often say we have that much possession against any team. Now, you expect to have the most possession when you're at home, appreciated, but 70% we had. But we did nothing with that possession. Total shots, 25 shots. Guess how much Everton had? 3 shots. 3 shots. We only had 6 shots on target from all of those shots of 25. We created 3 big chances and Everton created 0. Yes, you guessed it, 0. So in effect, you would probably say that shot outside the box from Dewsbury Hall, I'm not even sure if that would be classed as an expected goal. So just to break down the shots a bit further, 25 in total, as I was saying, 12 shots off target, 6 shots on target. We had 17 shots in the box, inside the box, and 8 pop shots outside the box. So our expected goals was 1.71 and theirs was 0.21. So that tells a story right there. So I think that's enough of the stats, to be honest, because it is grim reading. Now, we could have played probably another 45 minutes. We could play another 90 minutes, and I don't think we're going to score, to be honest. So I'm just going to move on to the formation just really quickly. There's been a lot said about Amorim's 3-4-3 formation and whether it suits Manchester United, whether it suits the Premier League. Conte, we know, has played it, and I believe he won a league with it. Glasner at Palace that everybody likes, he sort of plays a version of it. So there isn't a lot that I can think of right now where there's evidence of it working in the Premier League. The jury is definitely out on the formation. The jury is out on Amorim. as I was saying in the video yesterday, I'm not saying that Amorim should change his formation per se, but I think in a game like yesterday where a man sent off quite early doors, you don't need that extra defender on the pitch, in my opinion. You could have changed formation, you could have removed one of the centre backs and put an attacking player on and just done the numerical advantage when you're going forward. And we should have enough defensively. Now, if we've got the ball most of the time, as it's shown, 70%, then you shouldn't have to worry so much when it comes to the defensive side of the game. We should have enough there when we've got a man advantage anyway. So it shouldn't mean that you go attacking that you don't have cover defensively. That's not what's being said here. An attacking player can come on who can defend as well. So there's no excuse. Going on to Amorim then, he's been in the role, in the job, over a year now, is it? Reds, guys, girls, what's your comments? Put your comments below. What do you feel about Amorim, honestly? Now, I will be honest, I am getting very close to that saying the out word. Now, obviously it's emotions still running high. We've had the game yesterday, we've not played particularly well, we've ended up losing, we've ruined the chance of going into the sort of top 5, top 4. However, I'm just thinking about, and I want you guys to think about the same, I'm just thinking about, he's been here, like I say, over a year. I let him off coming in at a part of the season when Ineos wanted him in, gave him very little opportunity and very little chance to say no. And he was very clear that he would need time to instill his philosophy into the team. Also, he'd want his own players, which is understandable. Now, fast track a year on, he has had, I'm not saying he's had a complete refresh, but he's had players that he wants. He's had players in certain positions. And just when you think things might be turning a corner, because obviously I got dragged into the 3 wins in a row. I'm not going to lie about that. I got dragged into that, and I want to be a positive Manchester United fan. But I've also got to be level-headed, as I believe I am, is my default setting. And I also have to look at it in its entirety. And for me, I'm not seeing enough improvement. I still feel we should have done better against Spurs in that final, Europa League. I don't think there's an excuse for that because Spurs didn't play well. And we had an opportunity there to win that game. There's the game against Grimsby. I keep bringing it up, but that still is embarrassing. And then the game yesterday, when you've got 11 men on the pitch, they've got 10, they've lost a player early doors, they're in disarray because Idrissa Gueye slapped his own player and got shoved before then. They're in disarray. We've done an attacking action which they weren't happy with how that went, so it's resulted in them slapping each other. And we've not taken advantage of that. But at the same time, yes, we weren't playing well, but what's Amorim done to change things, to react to that? Surely I'm not saying you're going to focus on that in training, but you're going to think to yourself, right, team, what are we going to do to react if we go a man down or if they go a man down? So if they go a man down, what are we going to do from an attacking perspective? How are we going to change things up? How are we going to tweak things? And it's the same that happens when yourselves go a man down. You've got to adapt to the situation. And where's the tactical flexibility and the tactical adaptation in that moment? Just not there for me. So I'm going to give myself a bit of time to calm down a bit further. However, I'd like to see your comments and how you feel things have gone. Do you feel that we should be in a better position than we are now currently? And what I mean by that is I'm not so much saying that we should be fighting for the title per se, but what I'm saying is a team of the stature of Manchester United who find themselves in a position of 11 men on the pitch against Everton with 10 men on the pitch, should we not be winning that game? Now, should we not be winning that game if it's 11 v 11? But we should definitely be winning that game if it's 11 v 10. And we've got the advantage. And we're at home. Come on. So, moving on to what I like to do in these Monday reflections is also have a weekend roundup, have a look at the results around the league, see how that impacts us and where we fit within that. So we'll move on to that now. First up then is Chelsea. So Chelsea beat Burnley 2-0. Again, don't have a lot of time these days to watch other teams, if I'm honest. So looking at the result in itself, it looks like that was quite a routine win for Chelsea. Again, just quickly going back to some of the conversation, to be honest, is another reason why it is frustrating, especially when we lose or we draw and we drop points, is the league is wide open. Now, I don't mean first, because I've said this before in other videos, I don't mean Arsenal per se, or even City, but the top 4, top 5, top 6 is wide open, because you've, as I said before, somehow, Liverpool are still below us. Newcastle, not sure where they've gone to now in the league, but they were below us. And these are sort of teams that are around that sort of top 4 consistently, or in and around us if we're performing well. So you've got teams like Palace and Villa that are up there. So it's open because, as I was saying to somebody the other day, we were at half time against Forest, we were second in the league, and then we end up drawing and we drop down to about 6th or 7th place. It shows how close things are in the league and that it's wide open. It's there for any team that can put a run together or any sort of consistency. And I'm not even saying at the same level as Arsenal, because they have been, in regards to consistency, they have been really good this season and worth winning the league if they do win it because of the consistency. I'm not saying they're doing it pretty. I'm not going to go down that line. I'm not saying they're doing it a vintage Arsenal or anything, but the consistency is key here. And if we could put a run together, you can start to separate yourselves and start to cement a position within that top 4. And that's what makes this so frustrating. So continuing on the results anyway around the league, and I'm just mentioning generally the traditional sort of top 4, top 6, and then the sort of teams that are in and around us really. So Brighton, they've got had a narrow win against Brentford 2-1, and obviously we know that Brentford have played pretty well recently. Probably better at home than obviously that was the game at Brighton. The one that makes you smile the most is Liverpool's downfall still remains, and they lost 3-0 to Forest. I did see that first goal from the centre-back Murillo for Forest, and it was a good finish. It wasn't a finish that you'd expect from a centre-back, and it sort of puts our forward players to shame with the finish that he created against Liverpool there. Palace beat Wolves, you'd expect that. I know they've got a new coach now, but they are sliding down Wolves, so a routine 2-0 win there. Newcastle, another narrow win there by the looks of things, a brace from Harvey Barnes against City, so Newcastle beat City 2-1. And then just to complete the sort of weekend roundup, Arsenal batter Spurs 4-1. Again, only saw bits of it. I do know that Eze got a hat-trick, and I think our guy Richarlison, got a goal. Hopefully he didn't take his top off and start crying. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But that just completes the weekend roundup. So our next game is Crystal Palace, who have beat Wolves 2-0. And prior to that, I think they had, if you want to call it a slight blip in the last game where I think they drew, but they've had some good wins on the board, and that's currently put them in 5th place, I believe. So they are in good form. Again, we won't be doing predictions now, but in terms of our chances against Palace when they're in good form, we're playing away. It's not looking great when we've just lost to Everton at home with a man advantage. I mean, they need to keep mentioning that. So, like I say, Palace next. At Palace, who knows what's going to happen there? Because, like I say, they're on a good run. So, as always, please leave your comments below in regards to everything that's been discussed in the video. So give me your comments on Manchester United, give me your comments on Amorim, any comments that you want to make about the results over the weekend, and what your thoughts are for our upcoming game against Palace. So, as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe because it's really important to this community and this growing community that we're growing together. Please like, please share, and I will see you on the next one.